And welcome back to our next podcast of Strong Girl Shuffle.
Girl, strong girl shuffle. Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a fun episode. We're gonna be talking about how to hype each other up and how to get motivated. My dumbbell is flying everywhere. It's such a problem with.
You know what the problem is? It's just too light of a weight for you.
Yeah, that 100 pounds, one arm, nothing.
Oh my.
All right, so we're going to be getting started with our podcast this episode. We're going to be talking about hyping each other up. We're going to be talking about World's Strongest Woman, the very first one in 1997. I hear that's a good year. I don't know. I think
That's my year.
93 is better, but I'll give it to you.
Only 4-year difference.
No, you make me feel old, I must say. Person would lessen me, but no, you age me.
Age is but a number. So yeah, we are going to be talking about the World's Strongest Woman's 1997, the first recorded World's Strongest Woman. And we are also going to be going into the hyping up. But before that, we are going to obviously do our tarot.
Shuffle in.
We're going to shuffle in, and we're also going to be talking about how we've been doing. So Allie, do you want to start first while I do some shuffling?
Sure. So I'll talk a little bit about how my goals and how I've been doing with the whole gym thing, workout thing, all life aspect. So I'm getting ready for my first competition of the season, getting the nerves, but it's gonna go well. So I'll be doing that this Saturday, and then I have another one in 2 weeks, which is terrifying. So we're gonna be
so amazing.
I'm excited but nervous, but I think it's gonna go well.
I'm so sad that I can't be there with you. Like, that's heartbreaking.
Oh, it'll be all right. You'll keep up to date in the group chat. So I've been doing a lot of training. I took a little break over Easter, just like I was away, the guys were away. So training did kind of dipper off there for a little bit, but I'm feeling very good. I've been still going to the gym Fridays, Sundays, and Tuesdays, going tonight afterwards. And so
Nice.
pretty excited about that. I have my meal prep. I have some the good old hamburger rice and some naan bread. So that's been going pretty good. Water, still not. I
Still
think
no.
no. I'm debating. This water bottle is leaking now, so I think that might be. I have I have one coming in the mail, so it's a big 41. It's prettier. It actually fits in my coffee, like my carb cup holder. So it, but no, the water's still not there. But yeah, no, everything's been going really well with me. I was pretty excited to I was really on the fence with doing this competition. Just because this particular one, it's with the bodybuilding. So I was having a moment of feeling a little self-conscious about being on stage with bodybuilders, but we got past it and we signed up because I knew if I didn't do it, I would regret. Because I was gonna go to the show anyways and just watch and support. And I knew if I didn't sign up once I got there, I would be regretting it. So we got out of our comfort zone this week and did it even though I was nervous and not feeling the most confident, but we're gonna do it.
That's why you got to push through. You got to persevere when you feel your lowest. Actually, you just reminded me of a really good quote. There was someone who told me that Van Gogh never did his masterpieces when he was happiest. He did them when he felt at his worst, and they actually became the thing that he was known for. So whenever you're feeling a little bit down, I know that frown is hard to turn around, but make that your motivation. Make that the reason why you go and push through. I think it's impressive enough that you're doing a competition this weekend, but you're also doing another competition in a short spurt of time afterwards. I can't remember what date it was. Was it in June or July? No.
It's in
just way before that. It's in 2 weeks. Yeah.
It's this is going to be April 13th and April 27th.
Yeah.
But we're gonna make there.
I am just so proud of you because before when we first started our friendship, you were saying that you wanted to start competitions and you wanted to do it, but you were always a little bit nervous. And then February last year, you did your very first competition and you were like, I don't know if I could do more than one in a year. And now look at you. You've done like what, three this, not three this year.
Um, I've
You've
done
done,
I've done three in total.
yeah,
So fourth, so it's a new season. Is what we're calling it. So there's strongman seasons, I guess, and yeah. So this is the one we're starting now.
crazy. I'm just proud. I'm proud of my little dumpling.
So how are you doing with your goals?
Oh, well, I was just gonna say before we start my goals, I just wanted to mention what tarot cards we were using today. So the cards already fell out when you were talking to me,
Oh,
um, but I will reveal what cards shown once I finish my goals. But I just wanted to show you we are doing the astrology tarot. A very dear friend of mine gave this to me for Christmas, and
I forgot I gave you that. Honestly,
I've been playing around with it so much. And where we had the eclipse this month, I just think that it's so fitting.
very
So, so yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. But before we go into that, my goals have been a little bit weird.
good.
So the exercising has kind of decreased a little bit. I've been going to the gym maybe once to twice a week, and even then, it's only an hour. I've been more
Hey,
actively.
an hour is an hour. It's not an only an hour.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the validation. I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like I have so much energy. I should be putting it towards something. And I don't really like put it towards exercising. I put it towards other things.
But
So
honestly, for probably 2 years out of my weight loss, health, and fitness journey, I was only going twice a week for an hour. So don't
mhm.
discredit yourself. An hour of work is an hour of work.
Thanks. Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me blush on camera. I'm glad I have the ring light behind me to like cover up all this
Oh,
redness.
okay, great.
Um,
I had
so yeah, my goals have been a little bit topsy-turvy. Like I've been spending a lot more time doing walks. I'm trying to get back into running, but the weather's been really weird here on PEI. So, sir, we'll put up with this light for a couple of minutes until she charges a bit, and then maybe we can get back into it. But
been talking about walking more.
yeah, I've been doing a lot more walking, trying to get into running, but like with the weather, it's been a bit weird. Um, I've been spending a lot more time organizing my thoughts and putting pen to paper. So I feel really good about that. Like I've been doing a lot more writing. I actually have 3 job opportunities lined up next week. So I'm going to be doing a lot of interviewing and seeing what direction I want to take with regards to my career. And I introduced my friend to the Writers Guild. So she's going to be joining me this weekend to do Battle 9. Essentially, that is I don't even know how to describe it. Essentially, you get a prompt, and it's you and someone else that has the sheet of paper. You find the theme on the paper, and you have to write something about it. Then you go up in front of people and you read what is on your paper, and they critique you on whether they like someone else's paper a little bit more than yours, or they like yours, and then they give you some pointers to like make your writing better. um, so it's a little intimidating, but I think it's really important for writers and just people in general to be able to handle criticism. And I'm really guilty for
Take things
being a little bit.
personal.
Well, I just struggle with vulnerability. So just like having my writing out there and having people read my thoughts and then make comments on my thoughts, it's a little bit scary. I actually talked to someone about it.
And this is why, like, when you talk to me, like, oh, maybe I could read your journal one day. I was like, I'd rather stab my eye out with a pencil. And now you
Well,
understand.
oh, I understood for the moment that you said it, but I'm also the type of person that's like, if I feel close with somebody, then I'll be like, you know what? I don't know how to express my love to you, so here's my work that I've written. Um, so I talked to someone about it earlier today because they were saying like, oh, it's because your ego gets hurt. I'm like, it's nothing about the ego. I mean, I'm sure it is for some people, but for me, it's more so like, here's basically my diary, my journal, read it.
Mhm.
So,
You were also talking about it being like your baby, each part is so personal,
yes.
so developed, that you also like say just like children, they need prompts and things to develop and things to improve on. No child is perfect without being critiqued. So yes, it might be your baby, but your baby can always be improved on. Everyone's
Your
kid
baby needs to grow.
needs to grow and develop.
She needs time to every child goes through a dark period, and that's what makes the best version of themselves. So you're absolutely right. I definitely just need to just, instead of dipping my toe in the water, I just need to jump. Like, that's just it. With the water intake, I've been doing really well. So remember how I told you I had a big water bottle?
Yeah.
My partner took it and he started using it as his gym bottle. So now I have this. And thank you, by the way, for the Hydro Boost. I've been filling this up 3 times a day. This is my third bottle.
I was about to say that's the same color it was. Do you have other Hydro Boosts? Okay. I was about to say
Yeah.
that's the same color you sent me at 11 a.m.
Well, it wasn't 11, it was 1, because that was when I was leaving school.
Still, it's
It's now 6:30.
5 hours.
No, I promise you, well, I did take a little nap, but this is my third bottle. And you know what? The Hydro Boost, it actually, like, I had it down here and then I filled it back up. The color stays, and there's so much powder in that little packet. I was surprised.
Um, there are ones that have like stims in them or it's more of a pre-workout, but these ones are just hydration.
Okay, well, thank you for that, because I was just like, I was nervous about drinking it for a while. I was like, I'm gonna be bouncing off the walls. No one's gonna know what to do with me.
I'm actually not a big fan of pre-workout. It's not something I like. I have some BCAAs or whatever. I take that and I take that kind of as a pre-workout, just for muscle recovery and then I'll put a BioSteel in that. But and that's I have some I just haven't really gotten into them.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because like my brain's already running a mile a minute, but like pre-workout doesn't work for me. But it does work for some people, and they might use it to hype them up for the gym. Just saying. All right, so tying back into our actual tarot session, I said we were doing the astrology tarot, and when you were talking about your competition, this card came up. It's fire.
Ooh, so tell us a little bit about how this is. Is this based on the traditional tarot or is this its own thing? I can't remember.
So this one is kind of its own thing. It's There's still major arcana, minor arcana, so it is the standard of tarot reading, but it has a little spin-off. So it kind of like focuses on astrology. And for those of you who kind of follow the stars and do astrology mapping, when you read the cards, it kind of relates to a certain horoscope.
Do you mind holding that
So
card up for a few minutes while you're reading?
absolutely.
So yeah, it's like a full ring of fire. It's very bright in the center, that hot white fire, and then going out to a traditional flame. And then it's a little dark and crispy on the outside of the circle. And then it's really interesting. It's like a border, but has like dots and lines, similar to I wouldn't call it a sun ray, but has an essence of a sun ray. And then it has the fire symbol at the top. So it's Fire Day. Is that what's that mean?
So it's kind of like a sun spore. I think you're spot on for that. It's almost like so fire day. It's when the sun is at its highest peak. It's at its strongest
I
element, and
knew.
then high noon, baby. And then on the other side, there's actually a fire sunset. So it depending on what fire element you can get sunrise, Sunday, and then sunset. And
Cool.
that will actually like determine how much energy and motivation you have. And we we all know a fire sign. We all know that they're a bundle of energy.
Yeah. So
So
what
I
do you
have
feel?
well, I wanted to see what you kind of thought because we were talking about your competition. That card came out. Um, I I just read that card as like full of energy. Like I said, we all know a fire sign. It's just raring to go. Head first, think later. I think you're just pumping yourself up for a competition. You are just like rearing to go. You are just ready to trudge in and fucking beat this shit out.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's how actually feel though. I think that's what I need to feel, but that's not how I
Ooh.
feel with it because like say I'm still in that I'm more in the I see that as confirmation that I'm in a better spot than I think I am maybe, but looking at that
Ooh.
I don't feel that way going into this competition at all. Um
Do you think that maybe this card's trying to tell you like you should be feeling this way? Like
yeah.
be more
It,
confident in yourself?
yeah, I definitely see that as and that's more of like see the fire within you. Like
Yeah.
let it shine.
Let it out, let it burst. Let
Yeah,
it burst across the sky. So the key words, the first word is strong,
of course.
courageous, generous, vibrant, creative, wise. I feel like I'm like getting ready to talk about the Avatar The Last Airbender. The Fire Day card can represent a wise woman, independent and authoritative, imaginative and intuitive, strong and courageous. So this is like almost like who you want to be.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what you were saying. She knows what she wants and how to get it, and that's how I see you. She's warm, lively host who is generous with her gifts. The card may describe a woman you know who fits these characteristics. Sorry, my nose was itchy for a bit.
That's all that's a little bit like me. Little bit.
The fire day is also the energy of the full heart of a burning hot day. Is it the eye of the blaze which can be painful to look at? You may be counseled to look into yourself and searing honesty to discover how you should change your own behavior in order to get better results for those around you. Ouch. Ouch.
Burning.
God, I was just gonna say, damn it, I'm burned.
Yup. Thanks, Tarot. I needed that one.
Right? This is why you said you were wanted to do tarot. Did you actually do your tarot reading after?
I did a little bit of tarot during the eclipse. I played with my alchemy deck and it said I need to submit and just let me
Oh,
not
that's
be
confirmation. Just go within yourself. This is the next card. It is the, oh God, I'm so horrible at Roman numerals. It's VIII, and it's the air element.
8.
Thank you.
Air. Okay. So this is what does air represent in the I would feel like that's okay, pause. Let me think. I want to say that air would be cups.
Oh, actually, good question. Let me double check that
Because
because they
fire would be
actually,
board, I would say. Um Pentacles would be ground. So it's between it could be wands. Could be wands. It's wands.
she's so sure.
Well, cups and wands.
So it's a little bit tricky to read these cards and kind of like line it up to the regular tarot deck, which is something that I enjoy about it because I don't really know a whole lot about the major arcana and the minor arcana. I just really enjoy what it can represent and how different people read it. So this was kind of fun because I'm obsessed with astrology and I feel like it does a really good job.
I what was
So
it? So it's 8 of airs. What is that in the book? I feel like that is telling me it's the 8 of wands. It's talking about a transitional period of time, movement, and options.
ooh, okay. I can I'm looking at this from like a horoscope standpoint. Okay. So air is
I'll say, how can you
definitely
do a horoscope when there's no horoscope thing on it?
well, I'm looking at like the air signs. So air signs typically are like very fluent, they're very easily interchangeable. So like if something were to change for them, they adapt very easily. They move forward. They're very progressive people. Um they're very independent, which is kind of a fault, almost like Lorelai Gilmore. Like they're over independent, which can be a little bit of their downfall, but also their strength. So when I look at the eight of air, or the air eight, however you would
Can
like to say it.
you put it back up for a second just so we can get a better
Sure.
visual? We didn't get
You
to
read my
explain
mind.
it. Didn't we didn't get to talk about what it looked like. So it's a very blue sky in the background, darker at the top, lighter at the bottoms. There's four on each side, and then there's three like giant stars or three stars in between each of the group of four. So it's a very interesting card, and it's more of a circular swirl wave, which is very
Mhm.
interesting because if I looked quickly, I would have thought that was water, but I can definitely see it as air now.
Yeah, it's really interesting because the cards kind of blend together. Like regardless of them being individual elements, they all tend to balance each other, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, Allie did a fantastic job describing it. And now it's time for me to read it. And I'll be honest, I don't really know what to do with circles and stars. So when I look at this, it just to me, it's almost like a mirror, a reflection. So when I look at this card, it's almost like reflecting upon yourself. You're seeing two sides match up and they're identical. It kind of looks like the same thing as what the fire was saying, to like look within yourself, to reflect and kind of manage your thoughts and process things. So to me, it's this card is telling me to take some time to get your thoughts together and reflect on the self.
Yeah.
And on the book, she says, oh, first word is restriction, mistrust, ooh, inactivity. Oh God, this is gonna attack us.
I feel attacked.
I saw it on your face. It's like the droop, and I was like, ooh. Indecision. That one hurts me. Imprisonment and isolation. The eight of air represents restriction and mistrust. A situation seems hopeless and you can't see a way out. You may feel trapped and hemmed in by your insistence on going in alone. Oh, Allison. Allison.
Attack. This is not fair.
I'm sorry, but you wanted me to be the more like, realistic friend to put you in your place. Well, I'll let the tarot do that.
Fair.
Rude,
Continue.
but right. You have run out of excuses and of ways to avoid making a decision. There's no escape. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm just punching you. Like, you must learn to trust others and should not be afraid to ask for help. You need to rebuild your connection with others and end your isolation before the decision is possible. Seek out trustworthy confidants to break the deadlock. Also, think about whether your inability to act is based in fear or rejection. Oh, we all have to risk rejection in life, whether in relationships or work or in bureaucracy. Don't let the possible no stagnate your willingness to go out and find that yes.
I need a blanket. I need a
Oh my God.
oh, and just think of those two cards together because they both came out where I'm griping. Oh, yeah.
Ouch. This really was your reading. Oh God. She's going back in the box.
Hero anymore. It's too real.
God. This
Put it
this
away.
and the Dark Woods one. These are the most. Ouch. These are the owies.
Yeah.
God damn.
Get attacked. I no longer want to use this deck. Done with it. Peace.
All right. We are going to have a little bit of a water break. So don't go anywhere just yet. I'm going to put this thing back in this box because it's fighting with me.
Goodbye. Oh, where's your water? Did you have a water break? I didn't see no drinking.
Sure.
Yeah. How got your hydration?
Hydration. Got it.
All right. So our next section is talking about getting after that. Oh, that tarot just like I felt very personally attacked. I need lots of water to rehydrate from that boost.
Need to cool down a little bit after that burn. God damn.
Yes. Jesus. But yeah, so our next section is still also very high energy. We're talking about hyping up for the gym. And we're going to talk about a few different things about how to be motivated to go to the gym, how to hype yourself up to go to the gym, and then how to hype yourself up for those big lifts and those competitions that I was talking about. So, the important thing with having motivation is understanding that motivation is not there all the time. No matter how much you are like, I'm going to be motivated every day, you're not going to be motivated every day. You got to be have the discipline and the consistency to still show up even when you don't. I don't know how many times I had to give myself a pep talk to go to the gym. But I'm like, I'll sit in there and I'm like, I'm gonna feel so much better. I know I'm gonna feel so much better. I'm only gonna go in for 15 minutes. If it sucks after 15 minutes, I'll leave. So it's kind of setting you, and you want to do stuff to set yourself up for success. So picking a time when you know the gym isn't too busy, that works for your schedule, and it gives you time to maybe give yourself an extra. I've had 30-minute pep talks in my car before going in. Giving yourself some time to allow those anxious feelings to process them and to push past them. If you don't give yourself enough time to do that, because going into the gym, there's a lot of anxiety. A lot of people have gym anxiety, myself included. And so we want to make sure that you are being aware of that you might have that, and to give yourself time so that you can still get a workout in, even if those feelings start to come. And one of my friends told me this. It was like, go in for 15 minutes. If it sucks after 15 minutes, leave. You did 15 minutes. 15 minutes of movement is better than no movement at all. Most
Mhm.
times you will keep going because you get there, you have the good feels, you get into rhythm, and it helps you to stay motivated, to hype yourself up to go. Another thing that I like to do is to blare the music. Put a good playlist on. Like, I have a few, like, I have a gym playlist on YouTube, and I just get in that zone, and it's a lot of techno. That's where
Yeah,
I'm early
I
to
was just gonna say.
yeah, it's a lot of like 2010s club music is what I'm going
Yeah.
into.
What we grew up with.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, when it comes to going into the gym, that's the first thing that I do is like I'll take 30 minutes just to set up my playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also good to have a plan. Like, if you're going to the gym, especially by yourself, you want to make sure you've planned out your workouts. There's nothing worse than getting into the gym and you're like, now what? I did this and I don't know what to do. So spending that time when you're listening to your music, getting hyped up, or you're giving yourself that little pep talk, start planning out what you want to do. And I like to have a lot of variations, being like, okay, I want to do legs as an example. Okay, I can do this, or this. So if I need a leg machine, like say a hamstring or like a leg curl as an example, but it's busy,
Yeah.
I get anxious and I'm like, I'm not gonna wait for that. And so I move on to something else. So,
Mhm.
but still using the same movement. So I always like to have like 2 or 3 options for each like workout. So I'd be like, I'll go in with like a list of say 6 things, but the goal is to do 3 or 4.
Okay. I like that. Like over preparing yourself.
Yeah. And then like kind of judge it based on your feeling. Like if you're starting to do legs, like I have a lot of my workouts already written out on my phone. So I'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
legs are not feeling it today. Let's go and look at, okay, let's do some core exercises. All right, let's do some chest exercise, or just going on the treadmill, just trying to still continue to move, but it might not be what's on the plan, but movement
Yeah.
is important no matter what. Like, movement's movement, right?
Yeah, you still went.
You still got there, you still gave it your all. But like
Yeah.
I like say I usually have like 6 things planned for my leg day. I don't do 6 things. That's too much.
Mhm.
Especially because I do it for an hour, and I do usually, depending on what it is, I usually will edit it as I'm going, be like, okay, I really was enjoying these squats. So I did 3 different variations of squats that day.
Like I like the idea of like hyping yourself up by collectively scheduling like I want to do these types of exercises for my legs, and if I can't do this exercise then I'll just do the next one. I always just like I never knew how to use the equipment in the gym when I first started. So what I like doing now is I find one piece of gym equipment and I stay on it. So there's that thing that you can like change the heights.
The cables?
Yeah, the cables. And I like using that for my leg days because you can like attach it, and you can do all sorts of movements with it. And then if you wanted to do arms while you're like giving, like if you're doing a full body day, or if you're doing a core day, like you could do good mornings. There's like so many options that you can do with the cables.
Yeah.
So just, yeah, another little tip.
Yeah. And another thing to go, it's nice to go with a buddy and a friend. But it's also important to find a gym buddy that's at the same, wants the same things as you. Maybe not the same levels because everyone is different, but wants to push, wants to have the same motivation, go at the same time. And it's just accountability. Like me and my roommate, we usually go Tuesday and Thursday mornings. We're doing completely different workouts. And we'll sometimes sit by each other and do like she's doing her exercise, I'm doing my exercise, but it's more the accountability of, oh, you're here, I'm here too, you're doing your workout, I'm doing my workout. You can luck out sometimes and have a gym buddy where you're working alongside, and that's a lot of fun. I miss having a gym buddy that really work out and push each other. Like that's what it is when I do strongman. It's very much like we're
Mhm.
off each other, but like that's not realistic for every day. But like I have that twice a week whenever I go training, and I'm going, or even when I'm going tonight. We're doing different weights, but we're doing the same exercises. So it's kind of nice to be like, as an example, I was like, oh, the yoke kept on sliding off my back. He's like, okay, we'll work on that. And he's like, I want to get the 100 or the 250 sandbag. I'm fine with my sandbag, but I'll still do sandbag work. Well, he's working on getting that 250, and I could be working on, say, getting the 150 up, you know?
Yeah, it's also like really fun because you showed me a video over the weekend of you guys actually having like a race or an obstacle course. So it's kind of like giving yourself that opportunity to do different things with similar equipment and kind of like push yourselves to do faster times or better cleans or just anything in general.
So now what's another thing that I wanted to talk about was talking about getting in the right mindset and going in with that, especially when you're going into those big lifts. That's where things get scary, and you have to believe that you are going to lift it before you lift it. So you'll hear a lot of them say lightweight, lightweight, lightweight. So it's a psychological thing. You're telling that person, this is lightweight. You got this. If you don't believe you're going to lift it, you're not going to lift it.
Mhm.
Because it's mind, muscle, memory. And so if you're like, oh, this is heavy, you're not going to get it. A lot of
Mhm.
the times for me, something that really helps me is I don't like knowing the weight. I'd be like, I get mad at the guys when they're like, oh, it's this weight. Like, tell me.
Don't tell me.
There's been a lot of studies and like people doing videos being blindfolded and going and lifting something, and they lift usually like 10-15% more than what they thought because you psych yourself out for,
Mhm.
oh, I can't do this. I've done that so many times. And it's just
Yeah.
because it's you get in your head. So having the right mindset going into competitions, going into big lifts is so important. Knowing that like I got this. Once you realize like if you believe it, it's you're almost like manifesting it. You're putting it in.
Yeah. A lot of Olympic athletes, you're mentioning that now, a lot of the Olympic athletes will also mention that they don't like to know when the time starts. They just look at their coach. They have their earplugs in, they're not listening to the gun go off. They're looking at the coach. The coach is giving the okay. You just go, you give it your all. You're not thinking about the weight. You're not thinking about the time. You're not thinking about how far you have to run. It's just, it is mind over matter. You're very, very right. um so a lot of the time just like kind of zoning out in a way, just being like, I don't want to know what's happening in the external world. I
Yep.
just want to like focus on this.
Yes.
It helps.
I think back to when we were at Nova Scotia Strongest last year, our coach, Andrew, he was going to go for a big deadlift. And he had his headphones on, and our other friend Cole was the one who gave the weight. And they were like, well, he's actually, if he does, I think it was put 50 more pounds on, he could break the record. We're like, Cole's like, yes, put it on. We're not telling him. And then
Mhm.
I remember seeing him with his headphones. He was in his own little routine. He got his little ritual, and he went up and lifted it and find out that he broke the record for under 90 kilograms. And like he didn't know it when he was lifting it, but he lifted it. It was a beautiful lift. And
Yeah.
it just kind of shows me like, you had that, like, no problem, bud. But if you had
It's
told him, oh,
yeah.
he probably would have gotten in his head, second guessed himself and whatnot, but he had
Yeah.
it in.
Yeah. And that is 100% all it is. And even just like, I know you when you were doing the logs for your first competition and the first one that you did, you weren't sure if you locked it. And then you started thinking about it and you could see the difference between your first lift and your second lift, just like the cogs turning in your mind of like, what did that lock? Did that go through? And there was another time when you weren't paying attention to because you were just like in it, you had your glasses off, you weren't paying attention to the person like giving the okay. Sometimes you just need that. That's just it. You just got to go into the grind and not focus on anything else or worry about anything else.
Yeah. And especially like it's such a personal thing. Everyone gets into their own little routines. Like some people like a good back slap to kind of like put them in. Some people have like will use smelling salts. Once they smell the salts, they're like in the
Mm-hmm.
zone. It's so personal. And for me, a lot of the times when my glasses are off, that's when I'm in the zone. Because I
Yeah.
can't see the rest of the world. So I take it as like it's just me and this barbell. I'm not looking around. And like that could be a good or a bad thing. So for some people, the hype and the crowd and them yelling is something that really amps people up. For others, it's a distraction. So it really
Mm-hmm.
it's so personal. Everyone's going to be individual. Like um the thought of slapping me on the back is not going to do something. Slapping my thighs, like myself slapping my thighs, yes, that energizes me. Um,
Yeah.
but the thought slapping me on my back is not gonna it's not gonna hype me up. Where others it does. And so it's something that you have to figure out. There's a lot of trial and error and figuring out for yourself what you need to get in that zone to be like, I got this. It's where you need to switch your mindset to being like, I fucking got this. This is lightweight. Like, show me I got this. Back off.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And that it takes practice to figure out what works for you and what doesn't.
No, you're absolutely right. And some people, like you said, a lot of people, they'll be more extroverted. So they'll look towards the crowd. They'll hear the audience cheering them on. They'll hear the roar, the thunderous roar of the crowd. They'll listen to music. They'll get slapped on the back. They'll listen to their buddy. They'll listen to their coach, their trainer, even people who are competing with them. Sometimes that motivation is what really pumps them up. Seeing people who's working towards getting a higher weight than you still cheering you on just to see how much you can push, I think that would encourage me to do more. But there's some people who are a little bit more introverted, and maybe you just want to listen to your own music, like Andrew had his headphones in, was doing his own routine. Some people, like I know there's a lot of people at my gym. Now we don't do any strong weights by no means. My apologies. I'll be drinking some water in a second. But the football team, a lot of the footballers come into my gym and they'll start lifting heavy weights because they have to do bulking for the season. And what they'll do is they'll actually watch videos of people doing heavy lifts before actually engaging in it themselves, because it almost like oh my god, it almost
Drink the water.
increases. I'm dying over here. I'm too hydrated. It's almost like it's a testosterone building video. I think that's how they described it to me. It's something that like puts them into the mindset of I want to do this and I'm going to do this. Yeah,
Nice.
that's my input.
Definitely. No, those are all really good points. And like you get in to figure out what works for you. And like there's no wrong or right. But a lot of people you'll hear uh, gym lifts versus competition lifts. So the reason
Mhm.
why they're so different is the gym is your comfort zone. Most times you're at the place that you are, you take as much time as you want to set up, you have these things. But when you're in a competition, you're usually not on your home turf. You are timed, it's very specific, being like, you got to go now. You might not be able to do all those visual things. And it's so much harder to do these things when people are watching and you're in a competition setting. And I think
Mhm.
back to my niece who is a competitive swimmer. She was so upset because it was a clock error. Her clock didn't work.
Mm.
She beat her time, but she didn't get her clock. And she was so upset. And I talked to her. She's like, I did it in practice. I did it in practice and it didn't count here. I'm like, you did it in competition. It was them
Mm.
who messed up. They had the technical error. And then she was trying to like bring herself down by saying, well, I did it in practice. I'm like, no, no. You did it in practice. That's very different than doing it in competition. And you know that. And it kind of helped her feel a little better because she was like, she was kind of being like, well, I did do it before. It's not like it's the first time I did it. I'm like, it's the first time
Mhm.
I did it in competition. That is very different.
Very big deal.
Exactly. And for example, my
Mhm.
niece in her swimming, you don't talk to her. She's mean. She is in her own little world. Like she is, you do not talk to
She's
her.
in her bubble. That's it.
You
Almost like when you're on stage and people say like break a leg, because if they give you like an encouraging word, it's like I don't remember what the theater crowd called it, but it's bad luck essentially to
at
like wish
Juju.
people good luck. Yeah. Um, so I can definitely understand that. But I also think with regards to like gym heavyweights versus competition heavyweights, at the gym, you're doing things by yourself majority of the time. Like you have some people who are doing it with you, but they're not necessarily going to be in the competition with you. If there are some people who are in the competition with you, you get to watch them and see how they progress, which is kind of nice because you can be like, oh, well, this person has a faster time, but they're not as good as lifting like deadlifts as I am. So I know that I will succeed in that competition or that event more than I would with the yoke carries. Um, and then it comes to the competition time, you're actually seeing people who are competing with you do this, and you're thinking like, wow, this is so impressive. I can't compete with that. And that's when you start like turmoiling and going into that negative thinking process of like, I can't do that because I'm watching this person who's 10 times stronger than me, smaller than me. Like I remember your third competition, there was this girl who was like smaller than me. I think she was like 5 foot, and she was lifting the same weights as Nikki. And I was just like, how is this physically possible? I don't understand like how your arms are breaking under pressure. Like she was just lifting the sandbags over her shoulder. I was like, how? My shoulders are aching just watching you do that. And it's so easy to compare yourself to others, but you really have to just fight yourself against that. And I think like you said, hyping yourself up with the smelling salts, with your music, taking your glasses off, the slap on the back, the slap on the shoulders, slap on the knees, listening to the crowd instead of your own thinking, it definitely helps. It all helps.
I agree with that. Yeah, so that's kind of our thoughts on how to hype up to get yourself to the gym, as well as hype you up for a competition and those big, big lifts that we all know you can do. You just got to get in your head.
That's right. That's the moral of the story today.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, if you guys have any suggestions of what you would like to do when you're doing heavy lifts, if you have any advice to give us or Allie for her competition this weekend, let us know in the comments. Like, tell us what you guys would do when you're doing heavy lifting in the gym. If you've even done heavy lifting in the gym, what do you think would be your method of choice? Mine personally, I really like listening to music, just playing the lyrics in my head. And it is 100% like 2000s to 2010, like that music genre. That's what hypes me up.
good time. Good time.
The music that we used to go clubbing to.
We didn't even go clubbing in the same time, girl. There are 4 years. I was done my clubbing when you were entering.
Yeah. We still listen to the same music. I don't want you to argue that. You can't argue that.
All right, so we're going to be moving on to our next segment, which is history of strongman, or in this case, strong woman. So we're going to be talking about the very first strongman competition, which happened in 1997, like we mentioned earlier. There was 7 competitors, and Megan has a whole lot more information for us.
I do. So let me just get my little cheat sheet over here. Yes, we are talking about World's Strongest Woman. It was officially um, funded in 1997. Had to think about the F word. It was officially funded in 1997. That doesn't necessarily mean that there was no such thing as World's Strongest Woman in the past. It's just that it wasn't documented. It wasn't a part of the Arnolds. It wasn't a part of Rogue. It wasn't a part of the World's Strongest Man that we know today. So it is the first and the very first documented one. And it's super, super exciting because all of these women are actually from Europe, and then there's one person from the USA.
I know.
So
It's
without,
kind of nice that there's such a variety.
I know you don't really get to see that so much nowadays, but it's really nice to see all of these women collectively coming together. The first strong woman competition was actually in Denmark, so I think that's why a lot of European competitors were there. But it was really nice to see that there's actually an American athlete who, spoiler alert, actually won the Canadian Championship in powerlifting.
Wow, cool.
So I've been trying to do a little bit of research on these ladies before going into this, but where it's so dated, a lot of the information is actually expired and not really on the internet right now. But I digress. We'll trudge through, and I do have some little tidbits about their personal life. We'll start with the final place and we'll work our way up.
So before we get into the actual athletes, I'd like to go over what the competition was. So the events were a max log, a keg press, a dumbbell press, a max deadlift, a max squat, and arm over arm pulling.
Okay. Did you actually want to do me a really big favor and tell me what they got in um, each event?
Sure. So who do we have first?
The first person that we have today
I'm not
is,
saying these names. I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. Just fair warning. Like we mentioned in the past, a lot of these women are from other countries, and their names might be a little bit tricky to translate in English. So I apologize in advance if I butcher the name. So the first one is actually Sigrun Heradarstordיר.
Ooh,
I tried.
yep. So she had 7.5 points. She got 70 kilograms on the log. She got 2 keg presses in 24 seconds. And it looks like there was a 3 logs or 3 kegs in total. Then we had a dumbbell press. Oh, wow. I just looked at what the top person got. That's impressive. So she
I
got
know.
10 reps. I'm interested to see what the weight was because 10 reps on the last place is pretty amazing.
Mhm.
Then we had a max deadlift of 225 kilograms. She did not get a lift on the squat, so that hurts because that means she got 0 points.
Yeah.
And then for arm over arm, she actually came in second, or sorry, second to last with
Mhm.
16 seconds for the arm over arm pull.
So a little bit of a tidbit on the squat. She did injure herself.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But she did definitely, she was 26 years old when she joined this competition. She was known to be Iceland's strongest woman in 1995, and she was a physical instructor. That was her job. I did a little bit of background research on her because the more that I read about her, the more I fell in love with her.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, she was, I mean, she looks like the body type that I want. Like, she is a Wonder Woman, and she wrote a lot of novels. She actually competed again in 2010 for another strongman competition. This time it was a little bit more inclusive. And I actually shared an article with Allie, which I can definitely share with you guys if you're interested, talking about how she transitioned from bodybuilding and powerlifting to strongman training specifically.
Cool.
Yeah, and she's a mom of 4.
Wow, let's go.
So just because you have kids doesn't mean that you cannot be a strong woman inside and outside your house. She actually said in the article that her husband moved all the furniture out of her living room so she can actually use it as a powerlifting room, and her sons work out with her, which is just so cute.
That is very cute. I love that.
So next on the podium, we have Doris Shoemaker.
Shoemaker from Germany. So she actually has 19 points. So in the log press, she lifted 72 kilograms. In the keg press, she got 2 in 15 seconds. She did 13 reps on the dumbbell press. 300 kilograms in the max deadlift. 185 in the squat, kilograms once again, and 14 seconds in the arm over arm.
Mm-hmm. So just because she got second last, don't discredit her because she got 19 points compared to Sigrun, who only had 7.5. Still a very big accomplishment. Not discrediting that either. But this woman, she was a drill sergeant. She was actually known to be an officer in the Germany army. She was also she also received a bronze medal in the 1986 European Taekwondo competition. So she's just like a jack of all trades. Yeah. She also got the European Championship in powerlifting, and she also got the World Championship in bench pressing in the same year that she did the competition.
Damn.
I know. She's not a woman to mess with. I'm telling you right now. If you look at a picture of her, like she is intimidating.
That's
So then above her, we actually have Susan Formgreen. I think I'm saying that name. Formgren.
from
My
Sweden.
apologies.
Or is that Switzerland? No, that's Sweden.
Yep, Sweden.
So she had 64 kilograms on the max log, 2 kegs in 24 seconds, 26 reps on the dumbbell press. For her deadlift, she had 325 kilograms. For the max squat, 205 kilograms, and did the arm over arm in 18 seconds.
She was only 20. Oh, sorry. She was actually 36 years old when she did this competition. So her and Shoemaker were, and also as Sorensen, which we'll get into later, were the oldest competitors in this competition. So without further ado, Formgren, she was a Swedish champion in powerlifting within the same year that she did this competition. And she was also a Scandinavian championship powerlifter in the same year. Like, it just blows my mind, like the amount of traveling that this woman has done. And she also got the world champion in powerlifting in 1991. Like, beast of a woman.
That's so
I know.
true.
Crazy. I love her. Okay. This person I'm kind of obsessed with. So I actually found an old recorded file of the World's Strongest Woman, 1997. It is very dated, but it's nostalgic because it kind of looks like a VHS recording. So when I was watching Karen Wickinson handle all of these events, which Allie will tell you what she received, I think she handled it very well because she was 26 years old and she actually did a Canadian championship in powerlifting. Her career was a chiropractor. That's all she did for most of her life. She worked with people that were doing strongman and were doing heavy lifting. And that was how she got into the program. That's how she was like, you know what? I want to do this too. Yeah. So she started doing her powerlifting and then she went into the World's Strongest Woman within the same year. This was her first year of competing.
That's really impressive.
Anyway, do you want to tell us her stats?
Sure. So her stats are the max log. She did 77.5 kilograms. She did 2 kegs in 17 seconds. She did 20 reps on this dumbbell press. I am looking up what that weight was because I'm excited to see what it is. Then for the max deadlift, she did 315 kilograms. For the max squat, 190 kilograms. And she got 12 seconds in the arm over arm pull.
Yeah. And just to show like the fight for this place, the person above her, which is Anne Stickelstad, She got 25.5 points. Karen got 23, and then Susan Formgren got 20. So like it's like 3 to 2 points difference, which I think is pretty close compared to like all the rest. You know what I mean? So
Yes, for sure.
so I felt like there was a battle there. And honestly, I'm gonna send you the link so you can watch it because it's so dated and I'm sure you'll feel so nostalgic when you watch it, but like it's impressive to see these women for the first time ever doing World's Strongest Woman. It makes you feel so proud to see the progression. It's crazy.
I
Um,
have the video up because I am interested to see about the dumbbell press. So it's actually two. It's two
mhm.
overhead, so it's
Yeah,
a little different than what I thought it was. I am still looking to see exactly what the weight was, but it's a double arm press, which is way harder than a single arm.
yeah, it's crazy. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm just getting so excited over it because like when I saw that for when I was watching the video, I saw that. I was just like, that's not something we do anymore, is it? And then I started looking at strong women competitions in like recent years and I was like, oh, that's not something we do anymore. Um
They do still do it. It's just an event you don't see very
it's
often. Like I know
yeah,
they did it in World's Strongest Man. They had a dumbbell press where it was the two. They do it. It's still a thing. Like Brian Shaw was probably the best in the men's department with that because
yeah,
he's equal on both arms. But yeah, it's interesting to
yeah.
see. I'm currently watching to see if I can figure out the weight of it.
Yeah, it is not just as common as like as it used to be. Um, so going from Karen, we are actually going into Ann Stickelson, who was the second youngest competitor in the event, or in the competition, sorry. And she was only 23 years old. Makes me feel so old. So she was the junior world champion in powerlifting. So she's been doing this for a while, which definitely shows. She was also a Norwegian champion in powerlifting that same year. And she got the world record for the squat with 247.5 kilograms. Crazy.
That is absolutely insane.
But tell me those stats.
All right. So she had the 25.5 points with 70 kilograms on the deadlift, or sorry, on the max log. She got two kegs in 15 seconds, 11 reps on the dumbbell press, which is a little lower, but she made up for in other areas. Don't worry about that.
Mhm.
She did 322.5 kilograms on the max deadlift, and on the max squat, 215 for first place, and then came
Mhm.
in second with 11 seconds for the arm over arm.
Yeah. So you can clearly see like what her better event was for sure. There's no questioning it. But going from Anne Stecken straight into Joan Ames Winter. Yep, had to make sure that I said that right. She actually changed her name because she got married. So her name is Joan E. Barter. She was 22 years old. She was the youngest to compete. I have something in my eye. Sorry.
Yeah, I have her as Winter here. She
Oh,
came in second with 34 points. She came in second for the max log at 82.5 kilograms. She came in second with three kegs at 14 seconds and 48 seconds, 14.48 seconds. Then with 25 reps on the dumbbell press, the max deadlift 330 kilograms. Whoo, whoo, whoo. Then max squat 195 kilograms. And then finished first in the arm over arm with 10 seconds.
yeah.
Impressive.
Oh, you got to see it, Allie. It's incredible. I can't wait for you to watch it. You can tell me all about it. So, she is the British champion in bodybuilding, and that's how she started her. Actually, she started as a professional rugby player. That's how she started into, I want to say, powerlifting, bodybuilding, just Yeah, exactly. Then she got silver in the European Strongest the same year, and she also got the British champion in bodybuilding that same year as well.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
then in
Mm,
first place,
mic drop.
we we have Michelle Sorensen, who actually wrote a book.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
check that out.
She is 36 years old when she first started this. She was known to be Denmark's, Europe's, and a professional strong woman.
Yeah.
Those were her titles. And she definitely deserved it because she pushed through this competition and left no crumbs.
Nuh-uh. So she finished with a grand total of 38 out of a possible 50 points. She came in first in the max deadlift with 100 kilograms. She came in first with the keg press, 3 in 11 seconds. That was fast. Then 40 presses on the dumbbell. Can't wait to watch that. First place in the deadlift was 370 kilograms. She came in second, with the max squat at 207 kilograms. Woohoo! And then came in fourth, or sorry, yeah, fourth with 12 seconds in the arm over arm pull. Amazing performance. And like with your
I know.
that's one thing about the sport too is like towards the last event she knew how much she needed to get, so she didn't need to give her, she probably didn't have much, well she, who knows, I didn't have to see to be like there's not much left in the tank, but she knew what she had to do. She knew she needed to get that 12 seconds to win it.
Yeah. So like just to show like how incredibly close these ladies were, just with specifically the arm over arm pull. Sorensen got 12 seconds. Winter got 10 seconds. Steckenstad, I'm sorry, I'm butchering these names. Steckenstad got 11 seconds. And then Wilkeson also got 12 seconds. Formgren got 18. Shoemaker got 14. And then Sigrun got 16. Like, there's literally 1 second to 8 second differences. Crazy.
I know, it's amazing. And just to think how far it's come now, it makes me quite proud.
I know. I was just going to say that, to see the progression just from 1997. I promise you, Allie, if you look at 1997 and then you look up 2001, you will see an immense change.
I
And
believe.
then it's just gone up from there.
I can't wait for us to do a little more research on all these.
Me too. I'm actually, um, just to see if you guys are interested, I'm actually kind of curious to talk about these world's strongest women before that time. So there was some ladies who did some pretty heavy lifting back in the day around the 1800s, 1880 specifically is what I'm thinking. If you guys are interested in hearing a little bit more about that research of when strong women were first, you know, foresaw, then let me know in the comments.
Yeah,
But
we'll definitely do one about that.
I hope you guys enjoyed this little segment of history of strongman and strong woman.
Yes. I loved it. Great job.
I tried my best. I cannot wait for you to watch that whole video. It's only 50 minutes.
Yeah, I
Um,
see it here. I
oh,
have,
it's awesome.
yeah. So have a little water break, hydration. Oh, well, that was really interesting. I learned a lot on that one. Like I knew when it was, but I really didn't know much about the athletes. So thank you for doing that for us. That was awesome.
You're so welcome. And thank you for showing me how to hype myself up going into the gym. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking to kind of break out of your shell, but very important.
Exactly. And I really feel like the tarot cards, even though we're harsh and I felt like they stabbed me in the heart, were very much a bitch slap. And it just kind of like made me think like you just need to have more confidence in what you're doing and believe in what you're doing and not let your light burn or whatever. You
Yeah,
know,
sometimes we need a good swift kick to the arse, my grandmother would say. And this was definitely that.
it was. And listening to all the women, it's also really inspiring for me to hear all like all their stats and like how they were moms and how they were older. So it is
Yeah.
really encouraging.
I'm so glad that that helped because when I saw the ages, like it just blew me away that these women were handling work and just outside circumstances on top of competing. Like, it's not an easy thing to do. I know that men handle this as well, but believe it or not, like, women tend to carry a lot more and they tend to worry a lot more than most men. And nothing against that, but it's definitely nice to see women kind of just being like, you know what, on top of being a mother, on top of working hard, I'm working towards being a better version of myself and getting that title of strong woman.
Exactly. Do you feel like that kind of the tarot really encompassed this episode?
I do actually. I think we needed that reality check,
I agree with that.
especially after a little bit of a little break, like we mentioned. The Easter weekend kind of took over for us, and it was kind of nice to be like, okay, well, it's time to get back to work.
To reality.
That's right. But we hope you guys enjoyed this video too. Please, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Please, please, please like and subscribe. We could really use your support.
We love it. And we are working on getting us on Spotify. We're not there yet, but we're going to. That's my bad. But we're working on it.
Girls need love too, and that's okay, girl. It all takes time, and we hope that you are here with us to share it all.
Exactly. And so,
If
again, where can we find you?
I'm so glad you asked. You can find me on my Instagram channel at Handora Readings. But if you want to check out the Strong Girl Shuffle, we actually have an Instagram and a TikTok too. And it is called the SG Shuffle Podcast.
That's right. And did I hear something about a website?
Yes, it's in the works, but I won't give any details yet. That's going to be a surprise. But Allie, where can I find you? On Instagram, on Facebook?
On good old Instagram at Allie_strongwoman. That's where I'll be posting all my competitions. I've been a little lackluster, but we'll get there.
I am so excited to see how you do in this competition, and feel free to keep me updated. I know we have a Facebook group chat talking about it, but I cannot wait to see your live reels of the competition itself and just getting a little taste of that atmosphere.
Get back in the groove. I'm excited. It's like this competition, it's not a sanctioned event, so it's a little less stress, so a little more fun just to kind of get the juices flowing.
A warm up.
In 2 weeks. And our next episode, we'll be doing a full recap on both of my competitions.
I'm so excited. Please stay tuned for that, because Allie is a heavy lifter. She is a strong, competitive woman, and you will just be surprised.
Well, with this 100 pounds,
chump change.
But thank you so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed this episode. Comment, like, subscribe, all of the above.
Do it all, baby.
Bye.
And have a great day. Take care. We love you. Mwah.